Papa's Perfect Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, and Papa, George, and their friends are posting letters to Father Christmas, Santa Claus. George has asked for a train, and I would like a yo-yo, says Papa. What have you asked for? Susie Sheep has asked for a scooter, Zoe Zebra has asked for a bat and ball, and Danny Dog has asked for a rocket. They are all very excited. We're going to get our Christmas tree now, says Peppa. Daddy Pig chooses the best Christmas tree. Mr. Bull carries it to the car. This tree's not going to fit, he says. We'll just have to choose a smaller tree, says Mommy Pig. No need for that, says Daddy Pig. I'll carry it home. It can't be that heavy. Daddy Pig carries the enormous Christmas tree all the way home. Hooray! Cheer Papa and George when he arrives. It is a lovely tree, says Mommy Pig. Thank you for carrying it, Daddy Pig. Oh, you're most welcome, says Daddy Pig. Now, let's get it decorated. First, Peppa drapes tinsel on the tree. Then George hangs the bubbles. Hee hee. Mommy Pig turns on the fairy lights. Click. Finally, Daddy Pig puts a star on the top. There, he says. The tree looks perfect. Now, let's leave a snack for Father Christmas, says Daddy Pig. Why doesn't Father Christmas use the front door instead of chimney? Asks Peppa. Good question, Peppa, replies Daddy Pig. If you see him, you should ask. Peppa and George excitedly head upstairs to get ready for bed. Night-night, says Daddy Pig, tucking Peppa and George in. Sleep well. After the door closes, Peppa whispers to George. Let's stay awake all night and see Father Christmas. But George is already fast asleep. Soon after, Peppa falls asleep too. Suddenly, there's a loud thump. It's Father Christmas on the roof. He looks at his present list. Peppa wants a yo-yo. George wants a train. Right. Then he jumps into the chimney, but gets a bit stuck and drops his present list. When he finally gets down the chimney, Peppa and George are waiting for him. Hello, says Peppa. I'm Peppa and this is George. We heard you on the roof. Merry Christmas, says Father Christmas. After he gives the children their presents, it's time for Father Christmas to deliver the rest of his presents. Oh dear, he says. I can't find my list. Don't worry, Father Christmas, says Peppa. I can tell you about my friend's presents. Thank you, Peppa, says Father Christmas, taking notes. Now, I need to get back up the chimney, but it was such a squeeze last time. Why don't you use the front door, says Peppa. It will be much easier. Great idea, Peppa, replies Father Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. In the morning, Peppa and George race downstairs to open their presents. George opens his first. Choo-choo, he cries. A yo-yo, gasps Peppa, happily tearing off the wrapping paper. They have fun playing with their new toys all morning. Later that morning, the doorbell rings. Ding dong. Susie, Zoe, Danny have come to see them. Father Christmas got us what we asked for, says Susie. Actually, he lost his present list, says Peppa. George and I told him what you all wanted. Wow, gasp her friends. Thank you, Peppa. Happy Christmas, everyone, says Peppa. Everyone loves Christmas. The end. Pancakes. Today is a day for pancakes, says Mommy Pig. Hooray! Shouts Peppa and George. Mommy, can we help make the pancakes, please? Asks Peppa. Of course, says Mommy Pig. Peppa and George help to mix the pancake batter. Stir, 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 says Peppa. Splash, 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 says George. The pancake batter is ready to cook. The first one is for George, says Mommy Pig. You will need to flip the pancake over, says Daddy Pig. I'm an expert at flipping pancakes. Mommy Pig flips George's pancake. Flip. The pancake goes up in the air. Flop. It lands back in the pan. Hooray! Cheers Peppa. You could flip the pancake higher, says Daddy Pig. You can do that when it's your turn to make one, says Mommy Pig. Mommy Pig makes Peppa's pancake next. There is lovely sweet syrup to pour on top. Delicious. I love pancakes, says Peppa. When George, Peppa, and Mommy Pig have finished their pancakes, it's Daddy Pig's turn. Ho ho, is everyone watching? He asks. The secret to making a good pancake is to flip it really high into the air, says Daddy Pig. 1, 2, 3, flip. The pancake flies up over Daddy Pig's head and stick to the ceiling. Splat. Hee hee, silly Daddy, says Peppa. Maybe that was a bit too high, says Daddy Pig. Mommy Pig knows what to do. She, Peppa, and George go upstairs and jump around. Boing, thump. They make the ceiling shake so much that the pancake falls down. It lands on Daddy Pig's head. Would you like some syrup, Daddy Pig? Asks Mommy Pig. She pours syrup over the pancake on top of Daddy Pig's head. 1, 2, 3, flip, says Daddy Pig. He tosses the pancakes into the air and catches it in his mouth. Delicious. The end. Surprises. Mommy Pig has a surprise for Peppa. This is for you, says Mommy Pig, handing Peppa a mystery box. It's a special box to put surprise things in. Oh, says Peppa excitedly. What should I put it in first? Only you can decide that, Peppa, replies Mommy Pig. It's your special box. Peppa goes upstairs. This is my special box, she tells George. I'm going to put surprise things inside. George wants to help. No, George, says Peppa. You have to wait outside. When Peppa is done, George tries to guess what's inside the box. Dinosaur, grrr, cries George. No, George, says Peppa, giggling. That's not a dinosaur. Now it is Daddy Pig's turn to guess. Is it my glasses? He asks. Silly, Daddy, cries Peppa. You are wearing your glasses already. Peppa goes to the living room. I made a special box for George too, says Mommy Pig. Oh, says Peppa. What's inside? It's a surprise, says Mommy Pig. George, says Peppa, let's show each other our surprise things at the same time. Snort, agrees George. Peppa counts down. 3, 2, 1. George and Peppa both open their boxes. What could be inside? Peppa has a trumpet. Toot toot. It's a bit of noisy surprise, says Peppa, giggling. She looks to see what George has. George has a drum. Bang! Another noisy surprise, cheers Peppa. Peppa and George march around the living room playing music. Toot toot, bang bang. Mommy Pig comes in with another surprise. I know where we should keep these surprises, says Daddy Pig. In our tummies. Everyone laughs. Hee 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 hee. The end. Daddy Pig's exercises. Mommy Pig and George are exercising outside. Daddy Pig is having a sit-down. I don't have to exercise, says Daddy Pig. I'm naturally fit. You don't look very fit, Daddy, says Peppa. I'll show you, says Daddy Pig. What should I do first? Asks Daddy Pig. You should warm up with some stretches, says Peppa. Touch your toes like this. Daddy Pig tries, but he can't reach his toes. Daddy, stop pretending you can't touch your toes, says Peppa. I'm not pretending, pants Daddy Pig. Maybe I should do a bit of exercise. I'll help you exercise, Daddy, says Peppa. First, you must do 100 press-ups. Easy, says Daddy Pig. Peppa watches as Daddy Pig does press-ups. 1, 2, 3, Peppa counts. 15, 16, 17, counts Daddy Pig. But Daddy Pig is not doing press-ups. He is lying on the sofa. Daddy, gasps Peppa, you're cheating. Mommy Pig comes in with George. She has an idea. She gives Daddy Pig an exercise bike. Now I can watch television and exercise, he cheers. But the exercise bike is too noisy. I can't hear the television, grumbles Daddy Pig. You can use my bike, says Peppa. This is the bell and here are the brakes. Peppa's bike is a bit small for Daddy Pig. Oh, thank you, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig cycles up a big hill and down the other side. Now I don't have to pedal, cheers Daddy Pig as the bike goes faster and faster. The bike is going very fast now. Whoosh! Maybe I'd better slow down, says Daddy Pig. He tries to brake, but the brakes don't work. Ah! Shouts Daddy Pig. Help! Whoops! Shouts Daddy Pig as he flies off the bike. Splash! Daddy Pig has landed in a pond. I think I'd better go home and dry off, he says. Quack. Daddy Pig pushes Peppa's bike home. It is hard work. At least I have done my exercise, he puffs. Quack, quack. says the ducks. The end. Richard Rabbit comes to play. Peppa and George are playing in their bedroom. Let's build a house, says Peppa. House, snorts George. Daddy Pig shouts up the stairs. George, Richard Rabbit is here. George's best friend Richard has come to play. George doesn't want to build a house anymore. He wants to play catch with Richard. Hee hee, squeaks Richard. Ha ha, snorts George. George and Richard start a new game. They turn the bedroom into dinosaur land. Dinosaur, roars George. You're too noisy, says Peppa, and I've got no one to play with. Mommy Pig invites a friend over for Peppa. Now she has someone to play with too. George, Richard, shouts Peppa. Susie is here. Susie Sheep is wearing her nurse's outfit today. Peppa and Susie tidy up George and Richard's toy. This is not dinosaur land, says Susie. This is a hospital. A hospital must be clean and tidy, adds Peppa. Peppa takes away George and Richard's dinosaur. These dinosaurs look ill, she says. They must go to bed. George and Richard gasp. Dinosaur! Shh, says Susie. Quiet in the hospital. George and Richard decide to play something else. Choo-choo, choo-choo. The bedroom is not a hospital anymore. Now it is George and Richard's railway station. Peppa and Susie don't want a railway station in the middle of their hospital. We don't like little children's games, says Peppa. Susie nods. We like grown-up games. Peppa and Susie get out the dressing up things. Now the bedroom is fairyland. There aren't any trains in fairyland, says Peppa. Susie agrees. Only pretty things are allowed. George and Richard burst into tears. Daddy Pig and Mommy Pig run up the stairs. What's all this crying about? They ask. George and Richard don't like grown-up games. Peppa and Susie don't like little children's games. Daddy Pig has an idea. He takes everyone outside. Look at all the muddy puddles, he cries. George and Richard cheer. So do Peppa and Susie. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. The end. Grandpa Pig at the playground. Grandpa Pig is looking after Peppa and George today. They are going to play at the playground. Come on, Grandpa, shouts Peppa. I'll tell you how everything works. This is a slide, says Peppa. I know what a slide is, Grandpa Pig laughs. I used to play on one when I was a little piggy. Did you have slides in your olden days? Asks Peppa. Grandpa Pig nods. And swings and climbing frames and roundabouts, he says. The slide is my favorite, says Peppa. She climbs up to the top and then slides down to the bottom. Whee! Everyone takes it in turns to whiz down the slide. Richard Rabbit goes next, then George. Richard likes the slide. He climbs up the ladder again. Naughty Richard, Rebecca Rabbit frowns. You have to wait your turn. Rebecca takes Richard off the ladder. Oh dear, says Grandpa Pig. George and Richard are little. they find it hard to wait their turn. Wah! They cry. Grandpa Pig decides to change the rules. Since George and Richard are little, he says, they shouldn't have to wait. Now, George and Richard are taking all the turns on the slide. I'm bored of waiting, says Susie Sheep. Me too, agrees Peppa. Let's go on the swing. Pedro Pony has a long go on the swing. I think it is someone else's turn now, says Grandpa Pig. But I have to go home soon, says Pedro. Grandpa Pig nods. Peppa and her friends decide to go on the roundabout instead. Everybody wants to go on the roundabout. I was here first, says Susie. But it's my birthday soon, says Emily Elephant. And I am the only boy, says Danny Dog. Says Grandpa Pig. All right then. All the children squeeze onto the roundabout. Now it is too full. Mommy Pig comes to the playground. How are you getting on? She asks. I'm confused, says Grandpa Pig. These rules are too complicated. Mommy Pig explains that there is only one rule at the playground. Everyone waits their turn. What? Snorts Grandpa Pig. Even the little ones? Even the little ones, says Mommy Pig. What about the very old ones? Asks Peppa. Like Grandpa. Even the very old ones, says Mommy Pig. At the playground, everyone has to wait their turn. The end. The rainy day. Let's find the rubber duck together with Peppa. It is a very rainy day. I don't like the rain, says Peppa, sighing. We can't go out and play. We'll just have to stay inside until it brightens up, says Mommy Pig. Daddy Pig has an idea. I know, he says. Let's play the rainy day game. What's that? Asks Peppa. I'll hide this rubber duck somewhere and you have to find it, explains Daddy Pig. It's George's turn to look for the rubber duck first. Daddy Pig hides it in Peppa and George's bedroom. Hee hee, says George, searching through all the toys. George hasn't found the rubber duck yet, but he's close. He says, looking on the floor by the bookshelf. You're getting warmer, shouts Daddy Pig. George turns around and points to the rubber duck sitting on top of the bookshelf. It was right behind him the whole time. He giggles. Hee hee. Hooray! Everyone shouts. Well done, George, says Daddy Pig. It was high up on your bookshelf. My turn, says Peppa. I'm good at finding things. I'm sure I'll spot it straight away. Mommy Pig hides the rubber duck in the kitchen. Peppa checks the sink and under the table. I can't find it. Could I have a clue, please? She asks. It's sitting with something else that's yellow, says Mommy Pig. What else is yellow in the kitchen? Bananas, shouts Peppa, pointing to the fruit bowl. Found you, rubber ducky. Peppa and George want to play the rainy day game again. They hunt for the rubber duck in the living room. We've looked everywhere and we can't find it, says Peppa. Would you like a clue? Asks Mommy Pig. It's sitting on someone very tall. It's on your head, Daddy, says Peppa, pointing. George giggles. Hee hee. Now it has stopped raining. We can play outside, cries Peppa. Who wants to jump up and down in muddy puddles? Asks Daddy Pig. Me! Everyone cheers. Race you there, shouts Daddy Pig. The end. Tidying up. Peppa and George are playing with their toys. First, they play dolls and dinosaurs. What's that? Squeaks Peppa in her dolly's voice. A horrible monster? Dinosaur, says George. Grrr. Peppa and George play lots more games. They leave toys and books all over their bedroom floor. What a mess. Daddy Pig comes into the room. He trips on a toy car. Whoa! He cries. Mommy Pig wonders what the noise is. Peppa, George, she gasps. You need to tidy up. But we haven't finished playing, says Peppa. You can play after you've tidied up, says Mommy Pig. I'll help George tidy up, says Daddy Pig. Mommy Pig, you can help Peppa. Let's have a race, cheers Peppa. Good idea, says Daddy Pig. Ready, steady, go. Everyone races to tidy up. Hurry, Peppa, says Mommy Pig. Put your toys in the basket. Peppa quickly puts away her toys and books. We'll win the race, she says. Daddy Pig finds a book. Shall we read this? He asks George. It has lots of dinosaurs in it. If you stop to read, you will lose the race, says Peppa. Soon the last few toys are in the basket. George and I win, says Daddy Pig. No, Mommy and I win, says Peppa. Mommy Pig looks at the lovely tidy room. We all win, she says. Mommy, says Peppa. Now our room is tidy. Please can we play again? Of course, Peppa, says Mommy Pig. Yippee! Cheer Peppa and George. Peppa and George search for their toys in the basket. George finds Mr. Dinosaur near the top, but Peppa's doll is right at the bottom. Soon, all the toys are back on the floor again. Oh dear, says Mommy Pig. Look at all this mess. Peppa, George, and Daddy Pig laugh. Don't worry, Mommy, says Peppa. We'll have lots of fun tidying up together again. The end. Mommy Pig's birthday. Today is Mommy Pig's birthday. Daddy Pig has made breakfast in bed. Peppa and George have made a birthday card. Happy birthday, Mommy, cheers Peppa, jumping up and down. Peppa, George, and Daddy Pig leave Mommy Pig to enjoy her breakfast. They go into the kitchen. Daddy Pig has baked a cake. It's so chocolatey, cries Peppa. Mommy Pig wants to come into the kitchen. Not yet, calls Daddy Pig. Peppa tells Mommy Pig to go for a walk in the garden instead. There are more surprises for Mommy Pig. Daddy Pig blows up some balloons. He hands one to Peppa. Peppa has lots of fun decorating the living room with balloons for Mommy Pig's special birthday surprise. At last, everything is ready. Mommy Pig comes inside with Granny and Grandpa Pig. They are here to celebrate too. Mommy Pig comes inside with Granny and Grandpa Pig. They are here to celebrate too. Happy birthday, Mommy Pig! Everyone cheers. What a lovely surprise, says Mommy Pig. Daddy Pig holds up the birthday cake. Blow the candles out and make a wish, he says. Mommy Pig blows out all the candles in one big puff. Peppa can't wait for Mommy Pig to see her present. It's inside a big yellow box. Can you guess what it is? Asks Peppa. Mommy Pig shakes the box. It doesn't make a sound. I've no idea, she says. Ho ho, open it and see, says Daddy Pig. Mommy Pig unwraps a lovely sparkly dress. Mommy Pig puts on the sparkly dress. And Daddy Pig changes into his special smart clothes. You look beautiful, Mommy, says Peppa. Mommy and Daddy Pig are off to the theater. Granny Pig and I are going to babysit the little ones, Grandpa Pig tells Mommy Pig. What a super birthday, says Mommy Pig. I am the luckiest mommy in the whole world. The end. School camp. Peppa and her playgroup friends are going camping in the woods. I can't wait to set up my tent, says Peppa excitedly. Happy camping, everyone, says Miss Rabbit, the bus driver. Breathe in that wonderful fresh air, children, says Madame Gazelle. Everyone breathes deeply. Ooh, they sigh. This is a lovely spot, says Madame Gazelle. We'll pitch our tents here. Madame Gazelle shows everyone how to put up their tents. Now, children, she says, you must all find a partner to share with. I'll go with you, Peppa, says Susie Sheep. We'll make a good team. Peppa and Susie work together to put up their tent. Almost done, says Peppa. Soon, Peppa and her friends have finished putting up their tents. Good job, everyone, says Madame Gazelle. We're all ready to stay the night, says Peppa excitedly. Now, what can we do to keep warm? Asks Madame Gazelle. Make a fire, says Peppa. That's right, Peppa, says Madame Gazelle. I need you all to collect sticks for a campfire. Everyone collects sticks. Then Madame Gazelle makes a fire. Let's have a sing-along, says Madame Gazelle. She plays her guitar, and the children sing songs. Soon it is nighttime and the moon is high in the sky. I can see so many stars, cries Susie. Can we have one more song before bed? Asks Peppa, yawning. Please. After one last song, the fire is put out, and everyone tucks themselves up inside their tents. Good night, children, says Madame Gazelle. Good night, shouts Peppa and her friends. Peppa and Susie are in their sleeping bags when they hear a noise. Tweet-toot, tweet-toot. What was that? Cries Peppa. I'm scared. We're scared too, says Zoe Zebra from a nearby tent. And us, shouts Danny Dog. Madame Gazelle, calls Susie. We're scared. Why don't we all sing songs in my tent for a while, says Madame Gazelle. Come on in, everyone. Peppa and her friends love camping, especially when they get to sing in Madame Gazelle's tent. The end. The storm. It is a sunny day. Peppa and George are having a picnic. Would you like some tea, Teddy? Asks Peppa. Suddenly, the sky gets darker. Peppa, George, calls Mommy Pig. Come inside. A thunderstorm is coming. Peppa and George hurry to the house. Oh no, cries Peppa. I forgot Teddy. I'll rescue her, says Daddy Pig. Be quick, warns Mommy Pig. It's about to rain. Don't worry, says Daddy Pig. There's time. Oh, it has started to rain. Daddy Pig rushes back to the house with Teddy. Nearly there, Teddy, says Daddy Pig. Let's get you inside. When he gets inside, Daddy Pig hands Teddy to Peppa. Teddy, gasps Peppa. You are soaking wet. Poor Teddy, says Mommy Pig. I'll fetch a towel. Mommy Pig dries Teddy. There we go, Teddy, she says. All nice and dry. Oh, I'm a bit wet too, says Daddy Pig, shivering. Poor Daddy Pig, says Mommy Pig. Let's get you dry. Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig work together to dry Daddy Pig. Suddenly, there's a big flash of light, followed by a loud bang. What was that? Gasps Peppa. It's just a thunderstorm, Peppa, says Mommy Pig. Don't worry, adds Daddy Pig. We're dry in here. Drip, drip. Oh, says Daddy Pig. We seem to have a leak. Quick, says Mommy Pig. Find something to catch the water. Daddy Pig runs off and returns with bucket. Daddy to the rescue, cheers Peppa. Ho ho, says Daddy Pig. Problem solved, and I think the storm is passing. The rain stops and everyone heads outside. Look at all the muddy puddles, says Peppa. Thunderstorms are amazing. Peppa loves thunderstorms, especially when they make lots of muddy puddles. The end. Muddy car. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and her family are going for a drive in the countryside. Is everybody ready? Asks Daddy Pig. Look at the car, cries Mommy Pig. Muddy, says George. Yes, George, it is, says Mommy Pig. We'll have to clean it before we go on our drive. Mommy, says Peppa, can we help clean the car? You certainly can, Peppa, replies Mommy Pig. Thank you. Daddy Pig fetches a bucket of soapy water and some sponges. Everyone grabs a sponge and starts to clean. Scrub, scrub, squeak, squeak. Says Mommy Pig. This mud isn't going anywhere. I think we need to use something more powerful, says Daddy Pig. Peppa fetches the garden hose. What about this? She asks. That will work, says Mommy Pig. But please be careful. It's okay, says Peppa. Daddy hasn't turned on the water yet. Suddenly, the water comes on. Sploosh! Oh dear. The hose was pointing at Peppa's face. Now she is soaked. George giggles. Hee hee. Peppa points the hose up into the air. Oh! She cries. It's just like a splish splash rain. Shall we get back to washing the car? Says Mommy Pig, smiling. Peppa points the hose at the car, but the water hits Mommy Pig instead. Whoops, says Peppa. Sorry, Mommy. Now Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig are all very wet. While Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig dry off, Daddy Pig finishes cleaning the car. Ho ho, he says. It's so shiny. I can see my face in it. Well done, everyone, says Mommy Pig. I think we're ready to go for a drive in the countryside now. Yes, says Peppa, in our nice clean car. Daddy Pig drives down the hill, straight into a huge muddy puddle. Splat! Oh no, he cries. The car needs cleaning again. Even our car loves muddy puddles, cheers Peppa. The end. Work and play. Daddy Pig is sitting outside in the sunshine. What a nice day for doing nothing, he says. Aren't you going to work today, Daddy? Asks Peppa. No, replies Daddy Pig. It's Saturday. Mommy Pig comes outside. It's not Saturday, she says. It's Thursday. Oh no, Daddy Pig goes to work on Thursdays. Now he is going to be late. Bye, he shouts. Poor Daddy, Peppa tells George. Lucky Mommy can play at home all day. Mommy Pig types on her computer. I'm not playing, she says. I am working too. Mommy Sheep and Susie Sheep come to pick up Peppa for playgroup. Miss Sheep, says Peppa, do you work or do you play? I'm going to be working hard today, says Mommy Sheep. I'm off to the gym. Peppa and Susie giggle. That's not work, that's a play. Today at playgroup, the children are playing shops. Peppa and Susie will pretend to be shopkeepers. Everyone else will be customers. I'll take the money, says Peppa. I'll stack the shelves, says Susie. Danny Dog is the first customer. Can I have some biscuits, please? He asks. Susie checks the shelves. We haven't got any, she says. But we do have a toy telephone. Danny Dog wants to buy the toy telephone. How much will that be? He asks. £100, please, decides Peppa. She presses the numbers on her till. Pedro Pony is next in the queue. He wants to buy a toy house. That will be 1 penny, says Peppa. Oh, frowns Pedro. I haven't got any money. You can pay us next time you come in, Peppa smiles. Peppa and Susie have lots of customers. Running a shop is hard work. What can I buy for £1,000,000? Asks Rebecca Rabbit. Susie picks a carrot off the shelf. Rebecca likes carrots. Thank you, she says. When it's home time, Daddy Pig comes to collect Peppa and Susie. Daddy, wonders Peppa, have you had a busy day? Daddy Pig nods. I have been working very hard. We've been working very hard too, says Susie. Peppa runs upstairs to find Mommy Pig. Naughty Mommy, she cries. You are playing Happy Miss Chicken. That's because I've finished my work, says Mommy Pig.
We've all finished, chuckles Daddy Pig, so we can all play.
The end. The castle. Peppa and George are on their way to see a castle. Mommy Pig is driving, and Daddy Pig is reading the map.
The castle should be just around the hill,
says Daddy Pig.
But when they get around the hill, the castle isn't there.
I think we're lost, says Mommy Pig.
We're not lost, says Daddy Pig grumpily. Though, now I think about it, this road doesn't look like it does on the map.
Mommy Pig stops the car and takes out her phone. I'm going to call Granny and Grandpa Pig, she says. They will know the way to the castle.
Yes, I know the way, says Grandpa Pig. Just follow the road up the hill until you see the castle.
Mommy Pig drives the car up the hill. Wow, says Peppa. What a tall castle. She can't wait to climb to the top. Can we see Granny and Grandpa's house from here? Asks Peppa when she reaches the top of the castle.
Let's use this telescope to have a look, says Daddy Pig.
Daddy Pig puts a coin into the telescope.
You first,
he says, lifting George up to look. Me next, cries Peppa, jumping up and down. When it's Peppa's turn with the telescope, she can see all the way to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Do you think they can spot me waving to them? She asks. I think they might be too far away to see us, says Mommy Pig. Let's call them to check.
Hello, says Grandpa Pig, answering the phone. We're waving to you.
Hooray! Peppa and George wave back at Granny and Grandpa Pig. This is the best castle ever, cheers Peppa. Peppa loves castle. Everyone loves castles. The end. Hide and seek. Peppa and George are playing hide and seek. It is George's turn to hide. You run and hide, George, and I'll come to look for you, explains Peppa. Try to find a good hiding place, George, says Mommy Pig. Peppa is starting to count, so George needs to be quick. 1, 2, 3, begins Peppa. George runs and hides under a little table. 8, 9, 10, yells Peppa. Ready or not, here I come. Peppa spots George straight away. Found you, she says. George will need to find a better hiding place next time. Hee hee, he cries. Now it's Peppa's turn to hide and George's turn to count. 1, 3, he says. I'll help, says Mommy Pig, smiling. 1, 2, 3. Peppa rushes out of the living room and up to her bedroom. She empties the toy box and climbs inside. George will never find me here, whispers Peppa. Mommy Pig and George have finished counting. Now George has to find Peppa. He runs over to the little table. But Peppa's not hiding there. Oh, says George.
Why don't you look in your bedroom, George?
Says Daddy Pig. George heads upstairs and looks under the bed. Peppa giggles as she watches him from the toy box. Hee hee. George looks behind one curtain and then the other. Peppa isn't there either. Where could she be? Peppa pokes her head out of the toy box. Peek-a-boo,
she whispers, then quickly dives back down. George wonders what the noise was. He tiptoes over to the toy box. Boo! Shouts Peppa, jumping up from her hiding place.
You found me! Well done, George!
What a fun game of hide and seek. The end. Flying a kite. It is a bright sunny day. Peppa and her family are at the park. They are going to fly a kite. Peppa goes first. She runs and runs, but the kite doesn't fly. You need to wait for the wind, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. It's George's turn next. He runs and runs. The wind picks up and lifts him off the ground. Whee! He cries.
I've got you, George,
says Peppa, catching him.
The kite is flying very high now.
Perhaps I'd better take over, says Daddy Pig. I am a bit of an expert after all. Daddy Pig is very good at kite flying.
That's amazing, Daddy,
cries Peppa.
Now do a loop-the-loop.
Watch out for the trees, says Mommy Pig. Oh dear, the kite is stuck in a tree. Stand back, everyone, says Daddy Pig. I'll get it down in a jiffy.
Be careful, Daddy,
says Peppa. Daddy Pig climbs a tree.
I don't think that branch will hold you, Daddy Pig,
says Mommy Pig. Nonsense, says Daddy Pig, reaching for the kite. Oh no, Daddy Pig is falling. Wah! He cries. Look out below. Daddy Pig is heading straight for a big muddy puddle.
Splat! Are you okay, Daddy?
asks Peppa. Yes, Peppa, replies Daddy Pig. Luckily, the mud broke my fall. Daddy Pig holds up the kite. He rescued it. Hooray!
Mommy,
says Peppa,
can we jump in the muddy puddle, please?
I suppose you can't get any muddier, replies Mommy Pig. Everyone has lots of fun jumping up and down in the muddy puddle.
Splat, splash. I like flying a kite,
says Peppa, but I love jumping in muddy puddles. The end. Bedtime Story. It is night time. Peppa and George are tucked up in bed, but Peppa isn't sleepy.
Can we have a story?
asks Peppa.
Please?
One story, says Daddy Pig, smiling. But then you must go to sleep.
I hope the story has a princess in it,
says Peppa.
Dinosaur,
shouts George. Daddy Pig chuckles. This story is about a princess and a dinosaur. Once upon a time, begins Daddy Pig, a princess lived in a beautiful castle.
Was she a brave princess?
asks Peppa. Yes, says Daddy Pig. She was brave and smart. A small prince, a queen, and a king lived in the castle too, says Daddy Pig.
Hooray!
Cheer Peppa and George. They are enjoying Daddy Pig's story. One morning, the princess woke up, says Daddy Pig. She got dressed and looked at herself in the mirror. Peppa imagines that she is the princess in the story.
What an amazing princess I am,
she cries.
Hee hee.
Then the princess peered out of the castle window, says Daddy Pig.
What happens next?
Gasps Peppa. Wait and see, says Daddy Pig.
Dinosaur!
Cries George. That's right, George, says Daddy Pig. A huge, scary dinosaur appeared outside the castle. Grrr, growls Daddy Pig. George begins to cry. Oh, sorry, George, says Daddy Pig. The dinosaur wasn't scary. It only ate grass. George stops crying. Soon it was night time, and everyone in the castle began to feel very sleepy, says Daddy Pig. The princess was the sleepiest of all. Peppa and George yawned. The king tucked the princess into bed and said goodnight, says Daddy Pig.
The end,
Whispers Mommy Pig. Daddy Pig's story worked. Peppa and George are both fast asleep.
Well done, Daddy Pig,
says Mommy Pig. Daddy Pig yawns. Now he is feeling sleepy too.
The end.
The picnic. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and her family are getting ready to have a picnic. Bread, cheese, fruit, something to drink. Is there anything else we need? Asks Daddy Pig.
Don't forget Mommy's special strawberry cake, Daddy,
cries Peppa. Oh yes, says Daddy Pig. Everyone loves Mommy Pig's strawberry cake. Soon they arrive at the park. This is the perfect spot for our picnic, says Mommy Pig. Yes, agrees Daddy Pig. Oh, lovely fresh air. I might do a spot of exercise.
Perhaps we should eat first,
says Mommy Pig. Good idea, says Daddy Pig. I am rather hungry. I'll do my exercise later. After everyone has finished eating, Daddy Pig has a nap. Mommy Pig takes Peppa and George to feed the ducks.
Now the ducks are having their own picnic,
says Peppa, giggling.
Mommy, says Peppa, I think the ducks want more food.
We haven't got any more with us, Peppa, says Mommy Pig.
Oh,
says Peppa.
I'm sorry, Miss Duck.
The hungry ducks follow Peppa back to the picnic blanket.
Look,
cries Peppa.
The ducks have come to our picnic.
That's lovely, Peppa, says Mommy Pig.
Now let's sit down. It's time for cake.
Mommy Pig slices up the strawberry cake. Yum, says Daddy Pig. My favorite.
Mine too,
cries Peppa.
Thank you, Mommy.
Yay, says George. Suddenly, Daddy Pig cries out, Oh, my cake! A wasp is buzzing around his head.
Stay still, Daddy Pig,
says Mommy Pig.
It will soon fly away.
But Daddy Pig is not very good at staying still. He runs, and the wasp follows.
Looks like Daddy Pig is getting his exercise after all,
says Mommy Pig. When Daddy Pig returns, he's too tired for cake.
Don't worry, Daddy,
says Peppa.
I know what to do with it.
Everyone loves Mommy Pig's strawberry cake, says Daddy Pig, laughing.
The end.
The traffic jam. Granny and Grandpa Pig are making lunch for Peppa and her family. I dug up lots of tasty potatoes, says Grandpa Pig.
Perfect, says Granny Pig. There'll be plenty for everyone. Peppa and her family are on their way, but they are stuck in a traffic jam. We are going slower than a snail, sighs Peppa. Don't worry, says Mommy Pig. I know a shortcut.
Meanwhile, Grandpa Pig checks on the potatoes. Wow, they smell good, he says. I think they are almost ready.
Mommy Pig heads off the main road on her shortcut.
Are you sure this is the right way?
Asks Daddy Pig. Whee! Cry Peppa and George as the car zooms down the hill. They drive past some ducks. Hello, ducks, says Peppa. We're taking a shortcut to Granny and Grandpa's house.
I hope the shortcut works, says Daddy Pig.
Let's go back to the main road, says Mommy Pig. I'm sure we'll be ahead of the traffic now. Mommy Pig drives up another hill towards the main road. Oh no, says Mommy Pig. We're still at the back of the traffic jam. We're stuck, sighs Peppa. Again. Daddy Pig grabs his phone. It's time to call Granny Pig.
The potatoes are ready, says Grandpa Pig. But where is everyone?
Daddy Pig just called, says Granny Pig. The poor dears are stuck in a traffic jam.
Now the food will get cold,
says Granny Pig sadly. Suddenly, Grandpa Pig has a brilliant idea.
If they can't come to lunch, he says, we'll take lunch to them.
Look, cries Peppa. There's Granny and Grandpa.
Hop out, says Grandpa Pig. We've brought lunch. That's an awful lot of potatoes, says Daddy Pig, chuckling. I've cooked so many potatoes, says Grandpa Pig. There's enough for the whole traffic jam. Gather around, everyone, calls Granny Pig. It's lunchtime.
Hooray! Everyone cheers. The end. Daddy Pig's birthday. It is Daddy Pig's birthday, and he is going to work. I wish you didn't have to go, says Peppa.
Don't worry, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. I'll be home before you know it.
Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig decide to surprise Daddy Pig when he gets home. Let's bake a birthday cake, says Mommy Pig. A super chocolatey birthday cake, cries Peppa. Peppa and George love melted chocolate. While the cake cooks in the oven, Peppa licks the spoon and George licks the bowl. Daddy Pig is having a lovely time celebrating his birthday at work. Happy birthday, Daddy Pig, shouts Mr. Rabbit and Miss Cat. Now we need to get Daddy's big birthday surprise ready, says Peppa. George giggles. Hee hee. Remember, George, says Peppa. It's a secret. Shh. Shh, whispers George. While Mommy Pig decorates the garden with balloons, Peppa and George fill buckets with water. What are you two up to? Asks Mommy Pig. It's a surprise, says Peppa excitedly. When Daddy Pig gets home, his chocolate cake and present are ready. Happy birthday, Daddy, shouts Peppa.
Thank you,
says Daddy Pig, blowing out the candles. Daddy Pig unwraps his birthday present. Wow, shiny new boots.
Just what I wanted,
he says.
Shall I try them out?
Yes, says Peppa. Let's go into the garden.
Everyone puts on their boots and heads outside. Look, says Daddy Pig. A little puddle, but it's too small for me. I need a big puddle.
Here's your big birthday surprise, Daddy, says Peppa. Peppa and George throw their buckets of water onto the grass. Peppa and George have made a big muddy puddle for Daddy Pig. Surprise! Shouts Peppa. A big puddle to jump in on your birthday.
Wonderful, says Daddy Pig. Now who wants to join me?
The end. Paper plane. It is morning and Daddy Pig is packing his briefcase for work. There are papers all over the room.
I think that's everything I need, he says. Bye-bye, Peppa and George.
In the kitchen, Peppa and George use some old papers to make paper aeroplanes. Let's see if they can fly, says Mommy Pig. Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig take their planes outside. Ready, steady, go, says Mommy Pig, throwing her plane first. My turn, shouts Peppa. Next, Peppa wants to make a bigger plane. We'll need a much larger piece of paper, says Mommy Pig. Peppa and George go inside and find a big blue piece of paper. Peppa makes a big blue plane and takes it outside. Just then, Daddy Pig arrives home.
Hello, everyone,
he says.
I've forgotten an important blue work paper. I'll just pop inside and get it.
Daddy Pig can't find his work paper. He comes back outside. We made a really big blue paper aeroplane, Daddy, says Peppa.
You will need someone big to throw it then,
says Daddy Pig.
Ready, steady, go.
Daddy Pig throws the big blue plane and it flies up, up, and away. Daddy Pig, Peppa, and George collect the planes. They can't find the big blue one, but they find a white one in a pond.
Thank you, Miss Duck, says Daddy Pig. Now I must find my blue work paper.
Meanwhile, at Daddy Pig's office, Mr. Rabbit is surprised to see a big blue paper plane fly through the window. Oh, he exclaims. He picks it up and unfolds it. Mr. Rabbit calls Daddy Pig. The missing blue paper is here, he tells him. It's just landed on my desk. What a great idea to make it into a paper aeroplane and throw it to us.
Oh, yes, says Daddy Pig, surprised.
Now the blue paper has been delivered to his work. Daddy Pig can take the rest of the day off. Daddy, we need your newspaper, says Peppa, smiling.
What for? Asks Daddy Pig.
For making paper aeroplanes, replies Peppa.
Okay, says Daddy Pig. As long as I can throw one too. I'm a bit of an expert at throwing things after all.
The end. Champion Daddy Pig. Peppa and her family are watching sport on television.
The next event, says Mr. Potato, is the muddy puddle jump.
Oh, exciting, says Peppa. Aren't you the champion muddy puddle jumper, Daddy? Says Peppa.
Yes, says Daddy Pig. No one can beat my world record. What a big jump, gasps Mr. Potato. It's a new world record.
Oh no, Daddy, says Peppa. You are not the champion anymore. The doorbell rings. Ding dong. Daddy Pig, cries Madame Gazelle. You must get back your world record. We all want you to be the champion again.
All right, says Daddy Pig. I'll do it.
The next day, Daddy Pig puts on his muddy puddle jumping costume, but he can't find his lucky boots.
Where are my boots? He cries. I must have my lucky golden boots to be the champion again. Mommy Pig has lent Daddy Pig's lucky boots to Grandpa Pig.
Can you bring Daddy Pig his lucky boots? Asks Mommy Pig.
I'm on my way, says Grandpa Pig.
Hooray! Grandpa Pig brings Daddy Pig his lucky golden boots.
Now I'm ready to do my big jump,
Daddy Pig tells Mr. Potato. Come on, Daddy, cheers Peppa. You can do it. Daddy Pig takes a deep breath. Daddy Pig starts to run. He leaps into the air and lands in the muddy puddle with a great big splat. What a jump! Everyone cheers. Daddy's jump was so big, the puddle went all over us, says Peppa. Daddy Pig, you were the champion again. Well done, says Mr. Potato, giving Daddy Pig a shiny gold cup. Peppa, what have you learned about being a champion muddy puddle jumper? Asks Mr. Potato. I've learned that if you jump in muddy puddles, says Peppa, you must wear your lucky boots. The end. Thens. Peppa and George are in Granny and Grandpa Pig's garden, playing in the treehouse. Hello, Peppa, calls Susie Sheep. Peppa's friends have come to visit. Susie and Zoe Zebra climb into the treehouse. Rebecca Rabbit brings her little brother, Richard Rabbit. Let's have a tea party, says Peppa. Danny Dog and Pedro Pony arrive. They want to play too. Sorry, says Peppa. There's not enough room. Grandpa Pig builds a castle for Danny and Pedro to play in.
Now you have your very own den,
he says. Thank you, Grandpa Pig, cheer Danny and Pedro climbing inside. Everyone goes to see the castle den. It has a flag and a drawbridge. Can we come in? Asks Peppa. Sorry, says Danny. There's not enough room. Grandpa Pig uses a piece of string and 2 old cans to make a telephone for the dens. Granny Pig uses an old dress to make a flag for the treehouse. Susie frowns at Rebecca. Our flag isn't as good as the castle's flag, she says. I wish we were in the castle, sighs Zoe. Susie, Zoe, and Rebecca squeeze themselves into Danny's castle den. Then George and Richard squeeze in too. Peppa stays in her treehouse. I will never leave my treehouse, says Peppa. It starts to rain. Oh dear, the castle has no roof. Let's go inside the treehouse, says Pedro. Pedro and the others rush out of the castle. Danny stays behind. I'll never leave my castle, cries Danny. It rains harder and harder. Danny starts to get a bit wet. The rain stops. It has left a big muddy puddle on the grass. Let's jump in the puddle, shouts Susie. Peppa and Danny watch the others having fun.
Go on, jump in, Peppa,
says Granny Pig.
You love muddy puddles.
And you, Danny, says Grandpa Pig. Peppa and Danny love muddy puddles, especially when there's a room for everyone.
The end. George's hiccups. Peppa and George are having breakfast. George, don't drink your juice too quickly, warns Daddy Pig. But George gulps down his juice. Hiccup. Hee hee, now George has the hiccups, says Peppa. Hiccup, hiccup, hiccup. George's hiccups won't stop, not even when he goes outside to play. I know how to cure your hiccups, George, says Peppa, but you must do exactly as I say. Rub your head and tummy, says Peppa, and jump up and down on one leg. George rubs his head and tummy and jumps on one leg. Hiccup. George hiccups again. I know another way to cure hiccups, says Peppa. Wave your arms and stick your tongue out. George does exactly what Peppa says, but the hiccups still don't stop. Try closing your eyes and spinning around quickly, says Peppa, 3 times. George closes his eyes and spins around quickly. 1, 2, 3. But he gets dizzy and falls over. Hiccup. To try to stop your hiccups, I'm going to surprise you, says Peppa. Remember, George, this is just pretend surprising. It's only a game to stop your hiccups. George nods. Peppa jumps up and down, flaps her arms and sticks her tongue out. Then she makes a very loud noise. Boo! George starts to cry. Wah! Peppa, you mustn't play so roughly with George, says Mommy Pig. He's only little. Sorry, Mommy, says Peppa. But look, I've cured George's hiccups. Daddy Pig brings out some glasses of juice. Peppa and George take one each. George, cries Mommy Pig, if you drink too quickly, you will get hiccups again. I'm not as little as George, says Peppa, so I can drink as quickly as I want to. Peppa gulps down all her juice. Suddenly, Peppa starts to hiccup. George's hiccups have gone, but now Peppa has hiccups. George giggles. Hee hee. Mommy and Daddy Pig giggle. Hee hee. Peppa giggles too. Hee hee. Hiccup. The end. Mr. Bowl in a china shop. It is a lovely day. Daddy Pig is taking everyone out for a drive. Stop, shouts Mr. Bowl. We're digging up the road. Digger, shouts George. George likes diggers. Daddy Pig waits at the red light. Will the digging take long? Asks Mommy Pig. It will take as long as it takes, shouts Mr. Bull. Mr. Bull walks off. It is time for his tea break. Oh dear, now we'll have to wait even longer, says Mommy Pig. Why don't you join us? Booms Mr. Bull. Thank you, Mommy Pig smiles. Everybody sits down. Mr. Bull pours out the tea. That's a nice teapot, says Peppa. Yes, snorts Mr. Bull. It's made of delicate china. Mr. Bull puts the teapot down on the table too hard. Oh no, he yells. I've broken it. Mr. Bull doesn't know his own strengths sometimes. He is very sad. Miss Rabbit has a china shop, says Mommy Pig. She could mend the teapot. Good idea, shouts Mr. Bull. We'll go right now. Mr. Bull drives all the way to the china shop. Miss Rabbit is hard at work. Moo, bellows Mr. Bull. Miss Rabbit looks up. Ah, she wails. A bull in a china shop. I have broken my china teapot, cries Mr. Bull. Miss Rabbit takes a look at the teapot. She frowns. That's very broken, but I think I can fix it. Miss Rabbit gets out some glue. Fixing a teapot is like doing a jigsaw puzzle. The pieces fit together, says Peppa. There's just one funny shaped bit left, says Miss Rabbit. Peppa giggles. Miss Rabbit has found the handle. Miss Rabbit gives the teapot back to Mr. Bull. It's as good as new, he bellows. Thank you. Be careful not to smash it again, says Miss Rabbit. I am very good at smashing things, agrees Mr. Bull. Outside the china shop, there is a hole in the road. Look, boss, says Mr. Labrador. Mr. Bull makes up his mind. Miss Rabbit can't have a hole outside her shop. You fixed my teapot, shouts Mr. Bull. I'll fix your road. How are you going to mend the hole? Wonders Peppa. Mr. Bull grins. We'll dig up the road. Mr. Bull likes digging up the road. The end.